Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. It's a Star Trek day. It's the last Star Trek day we're going to have for a while, but that's all right. Today on our show, we're going to be doing illustration number 4 for Ron Fortier. But first, this. Computer. Lights. All right, good morning. And today we've got George with us right here, but you can't see him because he's off camera right. Or camera left. He's off stage right. You're off stage right. Do you know you're on stage right, you little fuzzy? You don't care, do you? George and I are having a discussion about whether he should sit right in front of my monitor. This is a discussion that we have regularly, and it happens almost all the time. That's right. You know what you should do, George, is not bite that. That's not acceptable. Simply not acceptable, you little fuzz. All right. So the morning starts with George, and we're going to head on over to the May line. And I'm sorry I'm boring you, George. I'm so sorry. We're going to head over to the May line, and we will work on our morning exercises. Goofball. All right. We're heading over here. Okay. So, we're going to just take our normal ruler here, like this guy, and place him right here. And we're going to do what we do every morning. Now, we're going to change these up pretty soon. We're going to draw 2 lines. We're going to draw some lines over here. I try not to go to the edge of the paper like this, because when you go to the edge of the paper, you end up kind of, you train yourself to draw off the edge and onto your table. So, I'm going to draw our start and end. We'll do the same thing here, start and end. Over here. Let's do some random curves, because we know that I'm going to need to practice on this. You want to see what I'm doing now over here? Now you're over here? Now you're interested? You're a goof. Okay. Provided you don't have a cat helping you out, you start with a 0.4, just like I've got here. This is just a normal fine liner. 0.4. And you wait for the cat to jump. There you go. Come over here and sit down. There we go. Now he's watching. He's watching. Let's see if we can't really get him on screen. That's okay. We're getting there. Okay, so you just take the 0.4 fine liner. We're just going to trace these lines. And the important thing is keep your elbow off the table. Keep your wrist off the table. You can guide with your pinky if you need to, just to give it a little bit of a start. But you want to be as much above as possible, putting down as light of a line as you can. Right? And we do this every day. And the reason we do this every day is to just get us into practice of this. This is a basic skill for artists to have, and it'll make your arm tired in the very beginning. But, as time goes on, you'll be fine. So, do the same thing with the long runs here. Right? I don't need help. Thanks, George. We'll do the same thing here. Still don't need help. Sometimes you will have a fuzzy partner who helps you, like this one's helping me. Sometimes you won't. This morning, George is particularly entertaining and fuzzy. You're being fuzzy. Here, allow me to move that so you can get closer. Okay, so with these two, the concept here, yes, thank you. You're very funny. The concept here is to look at your departure and then move your eyes to the arrival. And don't come back. Don't follow the pin. You want to look at your arrival. So my eyes start there. I'm looking at the arrival. Eyes start there. I'm looking at the arrival. And you won't always make it, especially if you've got distraction. Right? So we've got distraction over here, and his name is George. George is definitely a distraction. Now these are curves. I have a real problem still with curves. I'm going to have even more problem now that I've got George here, because George is really interested in the pen. There we go. I am kind of sad that we're done with warm-ups, George, because now it means you won't be playing as much. We're at the 7th today. We'll put this over here. He'll go after the pin somewhere along the line. Bop. Sometimes you just have to play with the cat. It's just the way it goes. I like the view you guys have. You have the behind the ears view. It's a very, dramatic view. Stab the cat, stab the cat. There we go. Bork. Okay. Thank you for playing along. You're a fuzzy cat, aren't you? A fuzzy cat, you are. Good job, George. All righty. He is getting so big. Don't eat the camera, though. Hey, don't eat the camera. I mean it. There we go. Alrighty. Cat view. Well. Don't eat it. Leave the camera alone. Okay, well, the cat entertainment is... There we are. You know better than that. It is sort of, for many of us, that is a legitimate concern. Navigating cats with your art. Art cats. It's a thing. That's true. He could have shown us his butt. He's very proud of his butt. I think that's sort of true of all cats, though. I think they're all very, very proud of their butt. So, that's the thing. That's just a thing with cats. Alrighty. So, yesterday we got quite a ways along on this drawing, and it was pre-recorded, which was cool, because I managed to get the pre-recorded thing to work, sort of. And it actually worked very well. The problem I had was that I got so caught up in the meeting that I was in that I didn't get to respond to all of you guys that were in here. I saw you here, Luna. I saw you come in at the very, very tail end of the show. So just so you know, I acknowledged that you were there, but I have to acknowledge it today, not yesterday. Sorry. And so there's that. We'll switch over to the monitor. We were working here. This is where we were. Looking at the original writing on this, we have a lot of things that we need to fix. The guy that's in here, this is an insert for a novel that's being written, and the cool thing about this particular company is that they're doing the old pulp inserts. So, you know, it's a pulp novel, but there is insert art that's in there that's really cool. So I'm doing all the insert art here for this. And I've been reading through the book and rereading the paragraph that this is from. I am seeing that we've got quite a bit of a little bit of work we got to do here. The author indicated that this was a room full of bad guys. Okay, that's fine. I only put like 6, so we're gonna have to room full here in a second, and we'll put that under here, and I'll actually go on ahead and add a new layer. The author also clearly described this guy. Very clearly described this guy. So we're going to park our materials again, because we're done with our materials. Oh, I appreciate that either way, Luna. I do appreciate that. And, you know, pop in and say hi, but don't feel obligated. It's okay. I love the fact that you're giving me extra viewers. I do appreciate that quite a bit. But, you know, don't feel like you have to. That's not what I'm after. Okay, we're going to add just some shadows back here. I do wholeheartedly appreciate it, though. I do. I appreciate the views. Well, you know what? That I can admire and respect. If you just like messing with algorithms, be my guest. Especially if I benefit off of it. It's like, I'm certainly not going to complain. I feel like we may have done a disservice here. Hang on real quick. Because I wasn't paying attention. So let's go on ahead. Right? Tonight's going to be fun. Let's go on ahead and first things first. We have that set for a gray, and it should be a black. It'll already become a gray because I've got a number of layers of white in here, so I don't need to make it start with gray. So we're going to go on ahead, and I'm actually just going to, let's talk about this from a grander point of view. What we really have here is sort of a line like this and a line like that, and we need to have critters that are all in this back line. That's fine. I appreciate you giving us all the views. The views. New master layer. So, on this layer, I now have sort of laid out what I want here. right? Here are my target lines. We're just going to do things. We're going to make critters. Right? We're going to kind of... It doesn't matter how accurate they are. Did I just do this on the wrong layer? Nope, I did it on the correct layer. So these are just like shadows that are going to be behind the bad guys. Just ominous shadows. That's not very ominous. Looks like a sock puppet. That's okay. That's okay. Now what we probably ought to do though is bring in at least this layer right here. No, that's not you. Not you. You. Right, because we want to still stay on this layer, but we need to be looking at various other functions in the background here so we can have different layers of critters. And there you go. Because there's a lot of people in here. A lot of critters and things. And we just really want this to show. There's lots of people here. I don't know if we are ready to fill this yet. We're not. That's the wrong brush. We want that. And the reason we want to is kind of kill that there. Meh. And just one of two ways. We just the easy way, and it's the hard way. There we go. Now when we add this layer, we have to look here and then just try to figure out how we're going to get underneath this layer. What we really need to do is bring in a white layer underneath it. Okay, that means we're going to have to kind of do some completion work here, but not a lot because all of this is going to be underneath. Just make sure that everything is sealed up is what we're trying to do here. So I'm not worried about the fact that it's not a complete, like his other leg doesn't have to exist. We just have to make sure that we're sealed off here. And the reason we have to make sure we're sealed off is I'm going to select everything here and then cut it out of the box, or out of the white layer below it. So things that aren't sealed are going to end up with leaks in the drawing, right? And you can already see we've leaked in here somehow. Somewhere we leaked in. So we're going to have to come back through and unleak that. Did all of my... In fact, it looks like that's exactly what happened. I drew all of that on the wrong layer. You have to stop. But why? You're on the wrong layer. Alright. We'll add this back in. One more time for the people in the back of the stairs. Alright. We're going to makes these much more of an atrocities than they were to begin with, which is kind of funny in its own way. There we go. It's, you know, I often feel like a lot of this work that I do has something to do with ogres in one way or the other. Therefore, it has to be onion. There we go. So now we've kind of done that. We'll go to this layer and we'll hit delete. And that just clears out everything from there. We got to go back up here and do stuff like this. And Alt. That's not Alt. I don't have Shift over here. It's too bad. Alright, we go in here, we go there, we go here, 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 and there. We're just pulling out the pieces in here that are clearly part of. There we go. Then we hit Control D for deselect. And make sure we got like one more little spot right down here, right? Hit Control. And we hit Control D. We got like another spot right up there by the chain. I mean, none of this is going to be major, like that. And then there you go. I'm gonna hit deselect. So I like this guy. He looks seriously like scary. But now the guys in the background kind of fit a little bit more. They just look like more monstery things. And we'll come back in and work on these in a minute. So that, really? I guess so. Okay. Come back in and fix that. I'll come back in a little later on and work into this crowd once I'm sure that the crowd is exactly the design we want to see. So these guys now have a background, which is cool, right? Because this is the background for this layer. So we're going to go on ahead and I'm just going to merge it down. And I'll call this the front line. Okay, so these are the guys that are on the front line. This is the background. All right, we're going to go up to the next layer, and that's our evil bad. All right. I actually did not mean to get that. I meant to get this, but that's okay. There you go. Alright. I think Evil Baddie is actually all sealed up pretty nice, so should be pretty easy to do what we just did. Add a layer. Go to white. Fill in all white. Right? Then we take the Evil Baddie and we hit go. Now the thing about Evil Baddie is he actually isn't looking like his descriptor. So we're going to have to go back and fix him. He needs armor. He needs to have dreadlocks. He needs to look pretty nasty, and he's got to have some kind of symbol on his forehead. So before I cut him out of the background, we're going to go in and we're going to edit him to make sure that we don't have a problem with Evil Baddie here. The descriptor says okay. Scoping out the concrete bunker-like perimeter behind the press of bodies, it had an appearance of being well used, and most of the rubble had been cleared. There was a small shaft off to one side that might have housed a service elevator. Okay, no problem. So, the rough and guttural voice that says that they're waiting for me entered the room, and the host parted like waves as a scythe was hoisted over it. A dark, armor-clad male figure strode confidently between them, coming forward to face Jordan in the center of the arena. He bore the mark of an angelic legion on his brow, and quietly commanding tone, as he had the Sephirotic level of vibrating resonance. "My, aren't you an ugly one, and quite full of yourself too," Jordan said evenly, to prove that he was less than impressed. Eyes glowing sickly yellow, his thickly matted war braids rustled as the Dark Angel shook his shaggy head in negative disbelief. A malicious smile played about thin lips over a salt and pepper straggling beard stained ruddy. So, we need to put a beard on him. We need to put armor on him. And it says, he studied the slender, somewhat wavering, androgynous figure standing before him, dressed in tightly fitted dark clothing, accented with white lace, half the blonde hair stiffly vertical, and the other half falling light and loose about the shoulders. So we can't put a hood on him. This meant he too was having trouble dealing with the yellow sun that lurked behind the roiling clouds. But more importantly, there was no weapon in hand. So that is him assessing our hero. Our hero is in the foreground. We're going to have to go through and fix some of this other stuff as well. But he's got thick, matted war braids. So let's go on ahead and get in there and fix that. I'll take his hood. Which is kind of a bummer. I was actually pretty proud of this hood. It looks great. But that's okay. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. There we go. So we'll do that, and then we'll give him thick, matted war braids. Which almost look like dreadlocks. brow there. Now he's got these war braids, which kind of show up because they're thickly matted. All right, specifically. Now, my next question says that this guy has the symbol of the Sephardic order. I don't even know what that really means, whether I should literally go look that up. But I felt like by declaring that he had some kind of sickly yellow eyes, felt like would be some kind of power. So we'll do this. Indicate some kind of power coming out of his eyes. Right, something kind of weird or strange. I may revert on this and see what happens, but for right now, I am into this idea. Make it not look like tears, though. He's not crying. There we go. We'll come up with more later. Okay. And I actually kind of feel like his eyes should be a little larger, maybe. He's squinting, and I get that. This is like assessing what's going on here. There we go. Now I need to put him in armor. Which we're going to do next. I also feel like this guy needs a cloak, right? I don't like the idea that he's wearing a cloak over his armor. But go for a different sort of concept here. And we'll just put in clasps, and we'll put in a Roman cape on him. And now give him greaves, which will help a whole lot. I'll bring that greave out so that it's crying. It's a grieving greave. Okay, I'm easily entertained by grieving greave here. Bring out this protecting unit right here. I want it to stick forward. That helps. All right. And because of the nature of the beast, I'm going to go on ahead and just put the rest of that piece there. And I'm going to let him have sort of a cloak-ish thing going for him here, because it looks cool and it works in the nature of things. It also gives us more to work with right here. Some cloth and stuff like that to just kind of work with. Makes him look more medieval. No. And we'll give this breastplate here. Actually, I kind of want to sharpen up this armor. Let's go ahead and probably we should look into knight armor. My phone keeps taking random pictures because it takes too long for it to respond to me saying clear. Okay. Let's look at medieval armor. Oh, I hit shopping. I didn't mean to hit shopping. I just want images. Ooh, that's a nice piece. In fact, I think that's what we will go with. All right. Somebody has a 118 gauge steel armor. So we're going to try this, is what we're going to do. I got to get it aligned. There we go. We're going to try this. That's what we've got. This is our basis point. So, a lot of what's going to happen here is we're going to have to start working from some upper points here. So we're going to take that off because there's going to be pieces of armor. Oh, man. Pieces of armor right here. Right, and that's a part there. We're going to take this, and what we're doing here is we're putting the paladins on. Paladines. These are somethings. I've forgotten what they're called. They're not palisades, which is what my brain will not let go of. They start with P, though. And when I remember it, it'll be like, oh, of course it was that. Oh, and I'll be so aggravated. And maybe, Luna, maybe you know. The shoulder pieces of armor have a specific name. And they are very specific. And it's not parfait, even though that starts also with a P. I'm just saying. And parfait sounds good. Also, just saying. All right. We're going to go ahead and put this up. We're just cleaning up the lines on this. He has a lot of armor. We'll come up here, do that. There we go. There. Now, sometimes the shoulder blades have a piece of metal there to start or to stop a sword from cutting through your neck, and that's going to mess up my cloak. And I like my cloak, so I'm leaving that in. I'm just saying, for the record, you could chop his head off, but, you know, probably not going to. Oh, man, that was a bad circle. Let's try that again. Here, there, and there. Over. Okay, we want to go over to here, and that over to here. And out like that, over to here, and then out like that. And then the breastplate actually has a line. It goes like that, and comes out. And then we're going to put this up here. I'll put the throat guard on here. We'll make sure it's straightened out, because otherwise it's not going to work. There we go. Now, one thing it does say is he's in black armor. So this is going to be a lot of highlight and inverted armor pieces. So once I get this squared away, we're going to have to prepare for a ton of square armor pieces that are these armor pieces that'll be black. This is the reason why I didn't want him standing. It's because he's kind of... It's more intimidating that he is willing to just kneel out here and take a look. Right? He's they're both posturing this scene. So both of these guys are posturing a lot. So I'm putting him in a position of not fealty, because he's not expressing fealty in any way, but in an attempt to project power. And that's what we're doing here. He's projecting power. And that's what we're going to do here. Okay. Now what we've done is we're going to do that. His armor is going to be black. Right? This just starts us out in the right place. We know that we're going to have to go through here and fix some of this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and make his cloak a gray or something like that, which would indicate that it was red. But his armor is black. Now we'll go in, since we have to make his armor black anyway, and we will highlight in white the things that I had highlighted in black. And we'll come along here. We're just going to highlight around this corner here. There we go. There we go. We'll come over here and do the same thing on this side. We're highlighting all of the areas that are there we go. I'm probably going to have to put a highlight on the other side of this armor piece right here, because I want it to show up. And so we've got to remember that we've got to be clear. So like this piece is going to need a line, except that I went the wrong direction. This armor piece is still going to need a line. Right? And there we go. Now we're starting to look a little bit more like shiny black armor, which is what that is. It's shiny black armor. Pauldrons! See? Pauldrons. Pauldrons. That's what it is. I knew I would think of it at some point. Or I could just read it on the actual page, of which it said specifically. But, I like to think that in reality, I thought of it. And these are pauldrons. We're going to have to go up here and clean those up too, because they need to shine like these do. Otherwise, you won't see them. And they won't be recognizable. There we go. Up and over. We'll come along the bottom here and do that. Just like that. Just like that. Looks like he's kind of got turtles going on him here. You just put like turtle shells back here. I've decided his pauldrons are turtle shells. There we go. I have made that decision. The decision has been made. There we go, coming around the corner there. And I'm just giving a lot of character to this pauldron. Using white to kind of bring that character out, right? The good news is, I'll bet you his boots are black as well. So we can get rid of kind of this part of his boot here. We'll go back in here. We need to make sure we're on black. Do this, do this, do this. Seal this up. And we want to seal it up because we're about to go and do this and this and this. And we don't want it filling the entire thing, which we all know it would do. So, we're going to do a few other things with these boots. I'm going to put spats on them so that we can illustrate that they are more than just shoes. So we're going to put spats here and a set of spats here. They're going to be plated spats, and we know that. So we're going to do this, we're going to do this. All right, I'm going to give these some plated spats. And of course the toe is going to need to be highlighted, and so will that. And we'll give this a lot of color right here. I knew that this one was going to be the hardest one of the lot. There were so many moving pieces in here. There was so much going on. And we've got sort of a bad guy that we're expressing at this point in time. And we want to kind of make him look cool. There we go. There we go. So that shoe, that boot, I feel like, though, I don't like this interior piece right like this. I actually kind of liked when I did just that. Huh. It gives enough to make it look like there's some shine to it or something to that effect, but it's really not. Now we're going to go back and do the same thing to the cuirass, which is his breastplate, because I want to make sure that this doesn't vanish. So we're going to go into white. Hello, let's go to white. And then we'll come back around like this. We're just going to highlight in this zone. And we're just going to do this so that we can kind of get the feel that this has got a raised area right along here, right along there. Here we go. We're just putting this in. Ugh. I don't know how happy I am with this design. I think I might be really unhappy with the way that this is coming out. That's okay. That's why we do these things on computer. Oh, I'm off by one. Huh. Well. You're heading the wrong direction there. Bro, you're heading the wrong direction. There we go. We'll come around here like this.
Time to take a quick break.
Wow, it's already 11? That's amazing. Save. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Everybody, time for you to stand up. Oh my goodness. And stretch. Here. Maybe pop your back. And walk around for a minute. A little walk. We'll walk back. We'll walk over here. Look outside. What a lovely day it is. At some point, we'll be able to open that door. Let fresh air in. Stuff like that. Clean out the winter. All right. Woo, that was good. That was good. I feel much better now. Shake out our hands. Make sure that our wrist is very supple. You don't want the wrist to get locked up. That doesn't help you any. All right. Now that we've taken a break, we return to work. Alrighty. Because we've got a lot going on here, I'm actually going to let this kind of go into this side, and I'm going to take it out of the other side. Take it on this side, go in and around. We're just going to come around and cut into these things. Like this. So we're just going to cut around like this. This is giving us just a little bit of a feel of what this armor is doing. Up here. We're going to come around like so. I actually want to give a shadow right here because this is where his cloak is, right? So we want that cloak to be shadowing out this part. There we go. When we pull back now, you can kind of see what's going on. We've got aspects of that armor, which makes it look spidery or really unpleasant, which is perfect. He's a bad guy, right? We want it to look armory and unpleasantly mean. If we bring in all of the other layers on this, right? We're not ready to put him in yet, but we will. We can see he's going to fit in real nicely and stand out. He's going to pop out of this just a little bit. Anything I do at this point in time, though, to correct the artwork on him is going to be meh. It's going to be difficult when I want to cut him out of the background for this layer. Right, so we're going to go ahead and come back in and let's finish up this white stuff. The white shine right here. We just want to make sure that this cuirass still shines, still has the effect we're after. And we'll come up here and just this last little bit right here. We're just giving this the last little piece that actually fits. There we go. We're going to let this piece of the gauntlet come down and under his hand. Now, the gauntlets, well, we gotta make sure that this part continues to show. Right, because that goes all the way up on the top there. We really want this to kind of come around like so. Right, we're going to do the same thing here, just enough to indicate that this piece matches this piece matches this piece, and right under here matches this piece. And he may have just a little bit of reflection to the right side. Gives him a little bit less flat. He's not as flat as he looks here. Right? So that's the way this goes. And we'll come up here. And we'll come across like so. There we go. Like that. We'll just give her some of these white dots. Right? There we go. Big black armor pieces of Doom. Now I haven't figured out what symbol he's got on his forehead. It says Angel Legion mark. Let's see if there's an Angel Legion mark. Angel Legion's a game on Steam. And it's got some adorable cute girl. So, as an image, I don't know if that means that it's a game I'd be wanting to play. I don't know. It's kind of adorable, actually. Yeah, that's not so bad, I guess. I see most of the marks say wings and or knives, swords sort of thing. So like a flying sword. Looks like most of what we've got is from Warhammer 40k. But it doesn't look like we actually have a symbol specifically for this guy. Okay, cool. Well, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this mark on his head, and we're going to make it up as we go along. Right? So I'm going to put... We're going to have a problem. There we go. Damn it. Give him a wing and a sword. And let's give him a shield on the other side. Maybe even more like a... I feel like this could be more of a... like a Legion shield. Right. I actually kind of like the idea of separating it right here. There we go. That's kind of a cool mark. There. There's this very, very tiny mark, which nobody will be able to see on his forehead. Yay, good going, me. All right. I'm going ahead and we'll go out like so with this. You make sure that this guy goes out a little further as well. And this guy needs to be just around and back. All right, we're just cleaning this up a little, bringing this around. There we go. For once, I'm actually kind of glad you did that. There we go. Coming in here. There. Now, our dude looks pretty bad. He's pretty cool. He's bad. He's good. He's good. He's bad. He's so bad, he's good. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. He's a baddie. We want him to look bad. We want him to look more badass than we do actually, like evil. But there we go. Excellent. I'm going to go through here and just trim that back. Got it? Oh, I'm an eraser. We'll come back around like so. There we go. There. Now, I'm feeling pretty confident that this guy is expressed properly. I feel like he looks good. We gotta do the beard. He's got a beard. So we'll do that. Now, I feel kind of like we're dealing with a beard here. It's not. It says salt and pepper scraggly beard, which makes me feel more like this. I feel like the beard probably will be the point that makes me decide I'm not messing with this guy. Still moving along here. We'll get kind of going in like this. Move it along the side here. We'll move up here. And down to the sides. There we go. Now he's got a scraggly beard going for him. Yeah, he definitely looks like trouble, doesn't he? There's nothing that says trouble like a goatee. You can tell that they're just evil people. So, would my mirror universe counterpart like be cleanly shaven? I always wonder these things. Like, that seems like this would concern me quite a bit. Fix some little errors up here. Come back around, we'll clean this up right here. No, that's not what we wanted to do. We want you to go this way. Like that. There we go. Clearly having issues with my folds here. But this is a cape. And it needs to come around like a cape. And act like a cape. Alright. So we're just going to come around here, wow, like so. There we go. I'm giving a little bit more room in here for the cape. go. There. Much better. So, I kind of want to do a couple of like folds for his cloak coming out the other side like this. There, this is why we didn't want to cut him out yet, because I wasn't 100% sure I was where I wanted to be with this. But now I'm pretty sure that's what we wanted to do. So we'll come back around here, put the shine on this boot. Knowing that there are spats, they're going to get a highlight. There. All right. He looks pretty nasty, actually. I like him. Want to kind of fix a little bit of this here because I feel like it's should be more like this. There we go, more like that. As someone who has facial hair, hey there, Brent. And like I said, it's more like an ogre. Everything in art is an ogre. Art itself is an ogre, I think. Just doing art's not any fun. That's not true. It's a lot of fun doing art. And Brent just drops in with the awesome commentary. Wham! Looking good, looking good. Well, we are almost done with this guy. Sadly, going back and rereading this, Brent, going back and rereading the place where this guy's from, I realized that the descriptor didn't match him wearing a hood. So I had to de-hood him. I had to put him to some wild armor, and then I had to make him have a couple of other things that indicated he was like an angel-ish. And I don't know if I want to put wings on him. It doesn't say he's got wings. So, not sure we need to put wings on him. That's okay. Now we're going to take this line out. We're going to take to the evil baddie layer, warp, and then line this up. I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure everything is off before I do this, because this is an important thing to do. We'll go in here, we'll go up to the evil baddie, really, and click there. And this will allow us to select all of the areas around evil baddie. And then we'll trim out that line. And we look, we have a leak in here, so we're going to have to fix that. Right? And I could do all kinds of things to fix this leak, or I could just go in here and just do this real quick. There. We have one more area right here, which is open to the back. We'll go in here and we'll delete that as well. I'm going to deselect. And what we now have is our evil baddie. I got to check right here to make sure he's not having a problem up there. Let's double check that. Yeah. We'll put he's got alien eyes thing going on here, so you don't have that problem with confusion. This is some kind of okay. Now we'll put all the other lines in. We don't need that one. We don't need that one. All right. Now that we've done that, the front line here is going to give us sort of a buffer zone. So between evil baddie and the front line, we have a buffer. But you can kind of see on all of these different things, we've got different kinds of buffer going for this. At some point, we're going to actually shade in that front line a slight darker gray, just so that it all looks like his front line. The background, we're going to work on in just a second here to kind of make it look more like people instead of just figures. Right now, it's just placeholders to give us an idea of where things are. So that's what we're after. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to merge these two together. We do that by Control and E, and that gives us this guy now with a white background all in one unit, right? And the reason that's important is, at some point in time, if I really am having a problem making this pop, what I will do is I'll put a 3-point stroke around it in white, and that'll make him really separate from the front line guys behind him. Because there's a lot of confusion and stuff going on here. So I want to make sure that I don't have that problem, with trying to understand what's going on. Especially with the background kind of giving a little bit more of an oomph to things. Let's go back there and start doing stuff to it. I'm going to put various horns These are all demons of some sort. I like the Medusa guy. We don't like things that are spiky, so the more spikes I've got, the creepier this stuff becomes. So we want this to be all points and claws. Maybe mandibles. Makes it even worse. Because whatever's happening back here is pretty unpleasant. There we go. Eek. We don't have a demon with wings, do we? We really don't. That's a good question. We probably should add wings in here somewhere. There. Excuse me. Oh. Ooh. I snapped my teeth together. Oh, that's an unpleasant feeling. Ugh. All right. Now what we have is quite an array back here of creatures. Which this might be just a huge cow. Moo, there's nothing scarier than a big cow. I learned that from Diablo. Hey, Diablo joke. Yep, that's a cow, all right. Bees me. Thank you. Bees me. That's going to be a new ongoing joke. We've implied now that there's somebody flying back here. They're ready to attack. Right? So now we've put in the front line, we've put in some creatures in the back line, because we want to make sure we indicate that this guy is cornered quite a bit. Now we'll have to go up here and work on the front line, which is Jordan. Jordan is our hero. He lives in the front, very, very front here of this particular picture. And what we're going to do with him is we're going to do the same thing, the same treatment we did with everybody else, right? He's in the very front of this picture. And right in this center is going to be that saturated line. Look at this. What has he pulled out, right? That's what we're after here. And actually, I believe I'm going to put, like, all of these guys are now on top of the gray line. I feel like that's kind of cool in its own way. But I'm going to do another sort of gray darkener in here. And we're going to go ahead and call this layer Jordan layer. Okay. And we need to do the same thing we just did. New raster layer. Make it white. Go over here, and then we'll put in an all white layer. And turn off the saturated line so we're not confused. I'm going to double check Jordan here. And Jordan, in this case, is wearing something else. Right? Tightly fitting dark clothing accented with white lace is where we are now. Okay? So this is where Jordan is at this point in time. He's in tight-fitting dark clothing accented with white lace. We're in white. We need to be in black. There we go. And his clothing will be dark. Give him a little bit of white lace there to indicate the white lace that the author is referring to. I'm going ahead and kill this line. And in fact, kill that line. Okay. It made my white lace not white. That's so mean. And this will be remarkably dramatic. right? Okay, now we're going to come along here. I'm going to give him highlights. He's in dark clothing, but I don't really read that as he's totally in black. And come around here, we're just going to give all the wrinkles of just normal clothes right along here, just like this. Switch lines. There we go. There we go. So we're going to switch to white. I'm just going to have just the back here illuminated a little bit just so you can see where his arm is. Like so. We'll come around like this. Give his elbow a little bit of shine there. I'll switch over to black. Trim that around. Okay. Switch to white and along this front side. Right, this is where we're actually getting a lot of light because we're getting direct light from his device he's holding in his hand. And this does say that Jordan is wearing gloves, which I think is where the initial sketch got the idea that he was wearing gloves. But either way, I'm going to have to go in here and implicate gloves, which is fine. So we'll indicate gloves. But I think his gloves should be white because I think that makes him even more interestingly androgynous. It says specifically he's androgynous. I'm just making this lacy. And I don't need to make the full pattern. I just need to make it imply that it's got a pattern to it. Ironically, this makes him look like he's a clown, which that's funnier. I don't know why I find that funny, but I find that funny. So, just putting in a lot of the indications that he's got folds going on in his shirt, and folds kind of happening back and forth here. And the like. give the back a little bit of a shine just so that it shows. And then right here, he doesn't actually have a lot on the left side that's going to indicate part of this. He's really not, because all of the glare is coming from right here. That's where it is. So he's not going to get a lot in the way of shine on the back because he's just really... I just want enough to separate him from the backgrounds. So that's all we're going to do. And then I want to select him just like we did with the other side. And you hit shift, you get a plus on that and that. I go down to layer 6. We're going to hit delete. Right, and it's going to clear that zone for us. And now what we have is a very clear and present this character versus this character. I actually think that maybe the bad guy needs his cloak to be... I'm going to flatten that down. We certainly can see everything that's going on, and it's clear who the bad guy is and who's the good guy. But I feel like the evil baddie is losing a lot of structure from a long ways out. So we're going to do a few things. One, I'm going to click the wrong layer. Actually, I'm not. Why is it not going? Are we selected? Let's see. We're not. Oh. We need to do that. Okay. Check his fingers, because his fingers are obviously leaking here. So we want to check those. No leaks. Right. We're also going to do this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I really want this to be like so. Nope. Undo, because this is where that is. Right? And then we're going to take there we go. Now we can see this part of his body and this part of his body really clearly. And that's kind of clear. I also think that his hair should be black. It does not, in fact, say. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about him having to have blonde hair or light hair in any way. So I can go on ahead and put his locks, his beautiful locks, in black. And, oops, that's his ear. His shaggy hair, what it literally says. I'll have to go back in and do something about this. But for right now, this is where we are. Alright. I'll go back in. And just give a little bit of touch to everything. Let things look suitably confused, confuzzled. We want all of this to look, not confused, I guess is the wrong word, but suitably suitably messy. In the fingers, the black space in the fingers. I will, oh yeah, that's a good point. I'll go back to it. I shall get it in a moment. There. Right here is what you're referring to. Bork and Bork. Good catch, my friend. Good catch. There we go. Now it's clear who is fighting who. They're both dark. They're both very, very dramatic on this, and I like the way it's looking. Oh man, I gotta shake out my hand though. That's all right. We are 99% done with this piece. I think I still need to do maybe a little bit of background work. Try to get some, make it look like they're in the sewers that they're in sewers of, instead of making it look like they are here. But I think I can do that with the with just the paintbrush and give it that effect that I want to give it anyway. And I might really do model work, like mottling, M-O-T-T-L-E. And I actually am kind of wondering, just looking at this, would he be better served here? Right? Would this be a better place for my big baddie? They look more like they're lined up. And then I can just take the front line guys and move them over to here or here. And then just finish that off. I think that would be a much more appropriate positioning of all of my guys. This puts, when we do that, this puts this guy looking straight at this guy, and all of these guys kind of looking at this going, what is that? So we'll have to kind of go back in there and fix that at some point in time. I think I like that layout a lot better. That looks a lot clearer. You end up with less kind of confusion. I'm going to cut. Yeah, well, that's sort of where I was headed. I was trying to kind of put everything in the weight to the left because that gives us a little bit of a danger feel. And that's exactly where I was headed. Okay. Well, it's one of those things. We probably still legitimately have another hour's worth of work on this. Yesterday's show was only 1 hour long, so that's still going to put me within 6 hours on this piece, and that's not bad. That's not horrible. It's still kind of rough, but that's the biggest problem with 40,000 zillion characters. You kind of have to go, really, people? There's so many things. So there we go. And I kind of feel like that's the nature of the beast on this one, and we'll just kind of go with it. So it's good. It's working well. I like it. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. We've got this going under control. So tonight we'll be doing our Star Trek Adventures game, and you can catch that on Geek Tank. And all you need to do is just subscribe to the Facebook channel for Geek Tank, and you will see it pop up when it comes around. And that'll be kind of fun. Looking forward to that. You can also catch Brent and Luna in that as well. They're part of that particular thing. But that's it for me. I'm done. I'm hungry. I want to go get lunch. And you probably do too. So there we go. We'll keep plugging on this. And I don't actually know whether I've got Pepper or not tomorrow. We'll find out. So we'll find out whether Pepper's with us or not. And that'll be great. That'll be fine. Until then, though, keep your eyes on the stars. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Computer, good night.